order. Opening roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Here.
Mr. Ray?
Here.
Mr. Strittmeyer?
Here.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Here.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay.
No. I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Ed Eitner from the meeting. He had told us at our workshop that he was not able to make it. And Heather doesn't need excuse. She's going to be running a little bit late, but she will be here. So
Okay.
This is just for Mr. Eitner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Sam? Thanks, Sam. Okay, there's a motion and a second to excuse Ed Eitner. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmeyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept the minutes from November 4th, 2024 council meeting as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept minutes from November 4th, 2024 council meeting that's presented and not read.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmeyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Okay, we're looking next for a motion to accept purchase orders from November 2nd, 2024 to November 15th, 2024, totaling $1,098,038.03 as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept purchase orders from November 2nd, 2024 to November 15th, 2024, totaling $1,098,038.03 as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmeyer?
Yes.
We're looking next for a motion to accept bills from November 2nd, 2024 to November 15th, 2024, totaling $560,665.44 as presented and not read, please.
I'll make the motion to accept bills from November 2nd, 2024 to November 15th, 2024, totaling $560,665.44 as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmeyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Okay, we're moving into the reading of ordinances and resolutions with our village administrator, Jason.
Resolution number 7409-2024, a resolution approving the police chief to hire Tom Heinerman as a part-time patrol officer with the Lakemore Police Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, and State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to hire Tom Heinerman as a part-time patrol officer with the Lakemore Police Department. Section 2, Mr. Heinerman will serve a 1-year probation. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4 of this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution will take effect immediately. Resolution number 7410-2024, a resolution authorizing the construction of a Lakemore community gazebo and the installation up to 20 park benches at Lakemore Dodds Park. Whereas the mayor, council, and administration of the Village of Lakemore wish to continue enhancing and improving community space, providing recreational areas, and promoting outdoor activities by the construction of a gazebo and the installation of up to 20 park benches in Lakemore's Dodds Park. And whereas the gazebo will serve as a focal point and venue for community gatherings, events, workshops, and recreational activities, while the benches will provide comfortable seating for visitors, enhancing the overall experience of the lakefront park. And whereas by providing more seating and a gathering place, this gazebo and bench project will foster a welcoming environment for families and friends, promoting outdoor activities and fostering improved social connections among residents. And whereas the council finds and determines that the gazebo shall be constructed in accordance and compliance with the specific plans attached hereto as Exhibit A. And whereas the Village of Lakemore will not bear the cost for constructing the gazebo, as private citizen fundraising and donations have raised the revenue necessary to construct the gazebo. And whereas the Village of Lakemore will not bear the cost for installing park benches, but instead through individual sponsorship and dedication. And whereas the cost for sponsoring and dedicating a bench is approximately $1,000, which includes bench purchase, engraving, and memoriam or other approved business, civic group advertising as permitted, and installation on concrete pad as facilitated by the Village of Lakemore. And whereas the council desires to authorize the construction of the gazebo and wishes to accept the donation of the funds, resources, and volunteer efforts of those individuals who have worked to fund, build, and enjoy the gazebo, benches, and other improvements. And now therefore be it resolved by the council of the Village of Lakemore, Summit County, State of Ohio, that Section 1, the donation of funds, materials, and labor necessary for the construction of the gazebo and the installation of up to 20 park benches in Lakemore Stodds Park is hereby approved and authorized. Section 2, that it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were a meeting open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Higher Revised Code. Section 3, this resolution is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this resolution shall go into effect immediately. Do you want to read the next one? Or do you want me to read it? Okay. Resolution number 7411-2024. Celebration of the completion of the remodeled Lakemore Fire and Police Departments, Administration Building, Suite Addition, and new Department of Public Services building. Whereas the safety and well-being of our community is paramount, and the dedication of our first responders and public service employees is essential to achieving these goals. And whereas the Village of Lakemore has undertaken significant improvements to enhance the capabilities and efficiencies of our fire and police departments, ensuring they are well equipped to serve our residents. And whereas the recent remodeling of our fire and police departments reflects our commitment to providing state-of-the-art facilities that support the vital work of our emergency responders. And whereas the addition of the administration building suite exemplifies our efforts to streamline operations and improve services to our community. And whereas the construction to the new Department of Public Services building represents a forward-thinking approach to managing our city's infrastructure and public works. And whereas these projects are a testament to the hard work, dedication, and collaboration of our village officials, employees, and community members. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio, hereby proclaim today, Monday, November 18th, 2024, as a day of celebration and recognition of the completion of the remodeled Lakemore Fire and Police Departments, the Lakemore Administration Building Suite, and the new Department of Public Services building, and let us celebrate our commitment to safety, service, and community enhancement as we dedicate these facilities and honor the individuals who work tirelessly for our community's safety and well-being. Section 1, that is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning it and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Higher Revised Code. Section 2, this resolution is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this resolution should go into effect immediately. Ordinance number 1872-2024. This is the second reading by title only. An ordinance to amend ordinance 1833-2023, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. Ordinance number 1873-2024. An ordinance to amend all ordinances pertaining to the water base and usage rates. Whereas the Village of Lakemore foresee a need to change the base rate and usage rates for the water services, and whereas the Council of the Village of Lakemore has determined the increase in water service rates are necessary in order to meet operating expenses, debt obligations, and capital reserves needs. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to amend the current rates. The new rates will be effective on the April 1st, 2025 bill. Section 2, the following base rates will apply. Residential in for water base rate every quarter will be $55.90. Residential out for water base rate every quarter will be $78.26. Commercial in for water base rate every quarter will be $55.90. Commercial out for water base rate every quarter will be $78.26. Section 3, the following usage rates will apply. The usage rate for all accounts in the Village of Lakemore will remain an additional $4 for each 1,000 gallons consumed and metered above the initial 1,000 gallons covered under the base rate. The usage rate for all accounts outside the Village of Lakemore will remain an additional $5.08 for each 1,000 gallons consumed and metered above the initial 1,000 gallons covered under the base rate. Section 4, the usage rates will continue to automatically increase 20 cents annually effective April 1st of each year. Section 5, all ordinances or resolutions or parts of ordinances or resolutions inconsistent with this ordinance will be repealed. All ordinances or resolutions or parts of ordinances or resolutions complying with this ordinance will remain in effect. Section 6, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all such deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 7, this ordinance shall go into effect on and after the earliest period allowed by law. Ordinance number 1874-2024, an ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. Now therefore be ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio, Section 1, that to provide for the current expenses and other expenditures of the said Village of Lakemore during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, the following sums be, and they are hereby set aside and appropriated as follows in accordance with the attached list. Section 2, that there be appropriated fund named General, Program 1, Security of Persons and Property, Police Salaries and Benefits, $661,298.24. Contractual Professional Supplies, $89,000. Total Police, $750,298.24. Fire Salaries and Benefits, $156,600. Contractual Professional Supplies, $30,000. Total Fire, $186,600. Total Program 1, $936,898.24. Program 2, Leisure Time Activities and Parks. Total Program 2, $43,000. Program 3, Community Environment, Zoning Salaries and Benefits, $13,399.21. Material Supplies Contractual Services, $480. Total for Program 3, $13,879.21. Program 4, General Government, total Mayor, $13,664. Total Council, $24,814.40. Total Finance, $64,954.97. Total Land and Building, $173,048. Total BZA, $1,250. Total Audit Tax Fees, $64,592. Total Solicitor, $30,000. Total Bank Fees, $1,000. Total Other Charges, $5,500. Transfers out, $277,368.25. Total for Program 4, $656,191.62. Total general expenses, $1,649,969.07. Special revenue, street maintenance and repair, 2011. Salaries and benefits, $102,255.60. Material supplies, contractual services, $83,207.28. Total street maintenance, $185,462.88. Lakemore Fire Department grants, 2052, total $10,000. American Rescue Act Fund, 2053, total $31,200. Permissive tax, 2101, total $15,000. Tops Fast, 2121, total $30,200. Police Disability and Pension, 2131, total $25,630. Emergency Medical Services, 2901. EMS Salaries and Benefits, $106,273.79. EMS Materials, Supplies, Contractual Services, $33,000. Total EMS expenses, $139,273.79. Lakemore Fire Department donations, 2903, total $1,200. Fire EMS Levy Fund, 2904. Fire levy salaries and benefits, $412,427.74. Levy materials, supplies, contractual services, $10,000. Total fire levy expenses, $422,427.74. Bond retirement, 3101, $277,368.25. Total bond, $277,368.25. Capital improvement, 4901. Capital improvement roads, $140,000. Total special revenue, $1,277,762.66. Enterprise funds, water operating, 5101. Salaries and benefits, $235,821.19. Water materials, supplies, contractual services, $284,214,000. Debt services, $46,983.78. Total water expenses, $567,019.97. Sanitary sewer operating fund, 5201. Salary and benefits, $176,762.06. Sewer materials, supplies, contractual services, $1,712,750. Debt services, $4,220. Total sewer expenses, $1,893,732.06. Trash services fund, 5601. Salary and benefits, $38,565.82. Trash materials, supplies, contractual services, $275,586. Total trash expenses, $314,151.82. Storm sewer operating fund, 5701. Storm fees and materials, $11,346.07. Total enterprise funds, $2,786,249.92. Special agency funds, enterprise deposits, 5781, total $1,000. CRA ER deposits fund, 9201, $1,000. Total special agency funds, $2,000. 2025 budget totals, $5,715,981.65. Section 3, and the village fiscal officer is hereby authorized to draw warrants on the village treasury for payments from any of the foregoing appropriations. Upon receiving proper certificates and vouchers, therefore, approved by the board or officers authorized by law to approve the same, or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditure, provided that no warrant shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages except to persons employed by authority of and in accordance with law or ordinance. It shall be provided further that the appropriations for contingencies can only be expended upon appeal of 2/3 vote of council for items of expense constituting a legal obligation against the village for purposes other than those covered by the specific appropriations here made. Section 4, this ordinance shall go into effect on and after the earliest period allowed by law. Ordinance number 1875-2024, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1833-2023, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to increase appropriations in General Fund $1,467.50 to winterize the boat and annual dues. Cops Fast Fund 2121, $6,765.97 for police salaries. Emergency Medical Services Fund 2901, $750 for fire uniforms. Note principal on Police Facility Fund 3102, $885,283.19 for the renovation projects. Water Operating Fund 5101, $5,000 for salaries. Section 2, Council approves to increase revenues in Cops Fast Fund 2121, $6,765.97 from the Cops Fast grant. Section 3, Treasury for payments from and foregone appropriations. Upon receiving prop certificates and vouchers, therefore, approved by the board or officers authorized by law to approve the same, or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditures, provided that no warrant shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages except to persons employed by authority of and in accordance with law or ordinance. It shall be provided further that the appropriations for contingencies can only be expended upon appeal of 2/3 vote of council for items of expense constituting a legal obligation against the village for purposes other than those covered by other specific appropriations herein made. Section 4 of this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this ordinance shall go into effect immediately.
You need a drink?
That was a lot.
Okay, so we're gonna move right into the mayor's report. And first, although he's not here this evening, I would like to extend an enormous amount of gratitude towards our own Lakemore's own Ed Eitner, veteran and councilman. He gave an amazing speech on Veterans Day a week ago from today, and an amazing prayer. And I want to thank him for his service to our country and his service to Lakemore. He did a fine job on pretty much a last minute notice, but he was really, really good. And you can never thank veterans enough, so I'd like to think on behalf of all of us, I want to thank all veterans everywhere who serve to keep us safe and free. Next, I have the Lakemore Food Pantry. It's operating this Wednesday, the 20th, from 4:30 to 6 o'clock. And I have some thanks to extend here. We're able to give turkeys to at least 120 families. And I want to extend a thank you to Meyer, who donated us a $500 grant, or credit card, right, that we can purchase turkeys from them. The Lakemore United Methodist Church Ladies Rummage Sale donated almost $800 for turkeys. And then the Ramsey Estate donated $5,000 to us. Turkeys are not cheap. We can easily spend, thousands of dollars on turkeys because we have in the past when we've been blessed with a lot of donations like this. So we're really thankful to all of those who donated. So we're able to provide turkeys and very nice baskets for this Thanksgiving to our families. And I want to announce that the Christmas distribution is going to be a week early as well. That's December 18th, Wednesday, from 4:30 to 6 o'clock. And I want to remind everyone that we earn money from the paper and cardboard recycling at the church, at the lower lot. There's at least 5 big green bins there. So I would like to encourage you, especially with the upcoming holiday season. There's a lot of wrapping paper and cardboard and boxes that people just throw in to the trash that end up in the landfill. I'm asking you to please reconsider and take a little bit of extra time and effort and support our Lakemore Food Pantry, because that is how we obtain funding for so much of our food that we purchase from the food bank and otherwise. So please consider donating your paper and cardboard and recyclables to the church. And I want to also say thank you so much to NOPEC, who gave us another grant this year so that we're able to provide a wonderful Christmas event here in Lakemore. Others are going to be talking about that, but some people asked how we were able to afford, such events like the horse carriage ride in years past, or the little train that we're having this year, drive families up to 16 people per trip through Lakemore, and to look at the lights and such. And it's from primarily the NOPEC grant, so I want to say thank you for that. We have $1,500 to spend on our event. We're planning on having extra balloon twisters and things like that. Nikki or someone will, I'm sure, say a lot more about that, but thank you, NOPEC, for that. And thank you also, we received, for those that don't know, there's been some questions about some trees that we planted around the village. And I do want to say, I want to say thank you to Walmart, frankly, because they put about 20 trees on sale for $10 a tree at clearance, and I happened to be there, and I called Megan, and I paid for them. I mean, it was only $200 for 20 trees. Megan came up on her lunch hour and put them in her truck, and
In the pouring rain.
in the pouring rain, right? And
Uphill both ways.
and we planted them, not the village. It wasn't a dime of the village's time or energy, truly. It was, Tracy had organized a serve day with Faith Family Church, and they sent at least 20 guys and gals out to Lakemore to serve, and for hours they sat there and dug holes to plant these trees. So I want to say thank you to Faith Family and Megan and Tracy and everybody else who had a hand in keeping those trees alive during the drought that was this summer. And we also received, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, $50,000 grant to plant more trees in Lakemore. And we didn't spend a dime of our money, nor did we plant them, or are we going to caretake for them. This grant, $50,000, covers, I think there was at least 15 that I counted, planted at Dodds Lakefront Park. And we have some other good news coming up tonight about Dodds Lakefront Park. I'm really excited about that, but I'll let others talk about that. But I do want to say thank you. God forgive me. Who did the grant come from?
Department of
Natural Resources. 50, shame on me, I'm sorry guys, but $50,000 is a lot of money, and they're gonna continue to care for them. They planted them all. These are 25 foot trees. They're huge already, much, twice, 2-3 times as tall as we are. I'm really, thankful for that, and we all should be, because it's gonna provide a lot of a good shade. It's gonna prevent a lot of the overflow, the water runoff and drainage right into the lake down there. That's gonna soak up a lot of that water that otherwise would either end up in the lake with contaminants or end up in our storm sewers and possibly our other sewers, and we'd end up getting charged for it. So it's a good thing that happened. So I want people to understand we're not frivolously spending money. We're really working arduously, truly, on getting grants and having other monies pay for a lot of these amenities and good things that are happening in Lakemore. So I just want to be clear on that. I think that was all I had. Please recycle at the church. Please don't chop down any trees. And with that, I'll pass it off to Council President Mrs. Cochran for council report.
Okay, thank you. I wanted first to talk about Villa Cruiser. Villa Cruiser is going to be held at the Dollar General on Friday the 29th of this month and Saturday the 30th. It will be going from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. So go into Dollar General, buy stuff in there, put it in the cruiser. It goes to Springfield Cares. And you can also make monetary donations. There'll be a jug out there, and that goes to help with Shop with the Cop, which is going to be on December 7th. But you'll see the cruiser up there with the lights going on, and you'll think, oh, I don't want to stop because something's going on in there. No, stop. And get some stuff and fill up that cruiser. So, other than that, the next thing I'd like to talk about, well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone who voted in the election and everybody who's still speaking on terms with their family. Congratulations. But on a local level, the people I want to thank that voted for the school levy and our fire levy, I'm very thankful for them. However, they didn't all pass. So I'd like to address a little bit about what may happen with our fire levy. We did have a meeting, was it on Friday? Well, we have decided to put that levy that we really needed to pass, because it was the bigger levy, back on the ballot in the primary. just as a renewal, there'll be no additional mill,
Replacement, right? No
Yeah.
new millage, right?
no new millage.
Right.
But let me just give you a rundown on what happened. Well, first of all, when I got onto council, one of the things that I had, and I still have it from the newspaper, one of my goals was to give us a 24-hour fire department. Because you may not know, we didn't have it 24 hours. I mean, you were lucky that you had someone there. I mean, at one point there was volunteer, and then we had some staff, but we didn't have around the clock. What's going to have to happen is either, if we want to maintain that, and I would say you would want to maintain having three people there in 24 hours, because if you're having a heart attack and we have one person on shift, if we have to cut, what do you want them to do? Drive you to the hospital or do CPR? You know, it's going to be tough. We are going to have to end up taking more money out of our general fund now to pay the fire department's expenses and bills. Now, if I'm saying anything incorrectly, just jump in here. If it doesn't pass in May. And that will also trickle down effect to our police department, where we're gonna not have the money that we would have put out maybe for their needs, because now we have to supply out of the general fund to the fire department. There might have to be cuts made across the board. When the fire department does their calls, we do what we call soft billing. That might end. It might be hard billing, hardcore billing, if you have to pay now anytime they come and get you. And then when they go and do all these programs where they change the fire smoke alarms for everybody, that might go out the door. We're going to have to, if it does not pass in the primary, we're going to have to make some serious cuts, because we have to remain fiscally responsible. And if we don't have that money, it's going to really hurt. At least that's my opinion. And with that, I'm going to move it on to you.
Well, I'll keep it brief. Well, I want to first thank Amelia Sykes' office, who came and spoke with us. It was very nice of her representatives to come and just ask us what we might need for the village, and spoke with the department heads here to see, you know, what we are lacking, what can be done, just to see if there's any grant opportunities. And I mean, they've written letters to help us with the opportunities before, so it was nice to have that like contact with the higher ups for sure. So yeah, other than that, I'll in Ed's stead, I just want to remind everybody not to rake or blow leaves and debris in the roadways or waterways. This will avoid negative effects in Springfield Lake, and it's particularly dangerous for motorcyclists. So with that, that's all I got.
Okay, I'd just like to bring up Spectrum Community Channel 1023. They like to provide access to local government meetings and programming and information of community events. You can look them up on YouTube, where you can watch present and past meetings and other events that were going on. You can also find them on X, Instagram, and their blog on Springfield Lakemore 1. If you have anything that you'd like for them to come out to, some community event or whatnot, get a hold of somebody and they will try to make that happen. And now, piggybacking off Ms. Cochran, I was fortunate on the fire department back when it was all volunteer. This levy was brought by because we became part-time, which was 3 of us that became part-time on the department. And then when we started doing overnights, we were sleeping in a trailer. We had a job trailer that was out back. The levy came about, and the whole purpose of it was, let's staff the station 24/7. And as time went, we got our staffing, and we've also, not only did we get staffing, but we also improved our services, from basic EMTs to being full-blown paramedics. We run multiple calls throughout the village. We run multiple calls throughout Springfield, Coventry, as far as our fire equipment and everything goes. We have just recently updated the building in our department to fit what we have created, as far as our full-time. We had a full-time department in a volunteer part-time building. which was shared with everybody, and now we have our building, but now we're possibly in the process of losing our services because we do not have the money to pay for them. Because the whole concept was, we get the levies pay for our people, and this is how we're gonna do it. And I just wish that everybody would get back out, think about that, and, it was something you were already paying, and with a small increase to begin with, now it's gonna be something that you were already paying with no increase at all. So, I would,
And John, from when you were on the fire department, the growth in Lakemore, now I think we have more people
absolutely.
on the
We
east
have-
side of
we have
Camp
doubled.
Road than what we
Absolutely.
have down here. So we haven't doubled,
yeah, the call
The money.
volumes have absolutely doubled, and
yes.
And with, like you said, that side of Canton Road, it's all older individuals, and so there's more,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I live
That's
there.
like a lot of retirement homes, with condos and everything
You're
out there.
absolutely right.
And-
Waiting room.
Yeah.
That's what,
I've heard that too.
that's what
I don't
we
wanna say
call it.
that, but,
That's exactly what
and
we call
then
it.
we're also getting a lot of, in the back part of it, getting a lot of younger families with a lot of kids, and with kids comes accidents,
Hidden Lake.
and
Even the police spend more time over there, and all the fire calls, most of them are over there as well. So
So, I mean,
I
these-
hope they come out and vote.
And what
Anybody
peop-
do any investigation, demographics why this fire levy failed?
We're working on it.
But it's just, it's sad that, we've come this far, and we brought this department as far as it has.
Sure.
And just, I don't know how else to say it, to get a kick in the nuts. Because, we built this, with knowing, and then it happens. Go ahead, Lance, I don't care.
He's like, don't quote that.
Can I add to that, guys? I want
Go
to
ahead.
add a little bit too. I want to add a little bit to that. Like, we were told 5 years ago when the levy originally passed, we had really good goals and objectives, and it passed overwhelmingly, 75% and greater, 3-1, better than 3-1. It passed in Lakemore to staff our department full-time,
Full-time, right.
24/7. And costs for everything have gone up. So we put a replacement on the ballot this go around, and we asked for a 1 mil increase. 1 mil increase, which is pennies on the dollar truly. And it failed by 100 votes, which is a huge, 120 votes. And we were behind all night. The early votes, the absentee votes came in, we were down by 33 votes from the RIP on that one. That was the most vital, important of the two levies. And we were down all night. The 33, as the votes came in, it became 66, then 99. Then at the end of the night, when all the votes were tallied, including the provisionals, et cetera, we were down 120 votes. And that is nominal compared to the number of votes that came out, to the number of people that came out that day. That is a tiny, tiny number, but it failed nevertheless. So we're hoping, we've caucused, right? We've agreed to not add the 1 mil, but for God's sakes, the cost for everything has gone up everywhere. I mean, we're pricing a new fire truck. Our fire truck's 90.
Fire truck is 30 years old.
Yeah.
It was 96.
Yeah.
when that
We're-
truck was
It'll be over
built,
$1 million.
It's gonna be over $1 million
For a strip down.
that we
don't
could-
have.
We could ostensibly fund it, but, when we can't even get a mil increase to pass, I mean, we're taking it away and we're asking for a replacement levy and it's going back on the primary, but I never in my wildest dreams or nightmares thought that the fire levy in the village of Lakemore would not pass. I just still can't believe it. I mean, we were sick for a week over that. I'm still not right over it. I mean, we've been meeting to try and figure out what went wrong. It failed everywhere. Okay, it failed over there, it failed over here. Age-wise, demographics-wise, it failed across the board minimally. So we're gonna just posture our messaging a little bit better. I mean, like Mrs. Cochran and Mr. Stripmatter said, we soft bill, guys. We soft bill Village of Lakemore residents for.
And not only that, when we go out on calls for if your mother was to fall, and and we go to pick them up, there's no charge for those.
Right.
Right, these are
If
just,
they
these are
don't
just costs that we
transport
run.
you, then-
And those,
Right.
if there's no transport, there's no charge.
But that might all change
That all-
in,
yeah.
in May if
Because
it does
it's-
not pass,
So,
it
but
has to
even
change.
with the transport, it costs, Chief Reinhold had broken it down for me when he was here, it's $3,000 plus per call to get your, unit out on the street. You pull it out, that's what it costs per call. We bill, soft bill, insurance pays what it does. If you don't have insurance, it doesn't pay what it does. But you know what? We don't come after Village of Residents. We're thankful and blessed that you pay your taxes already to the Village of Lakemore, thus the soft billing. We're not chasing you to assess your taxes or send you to, billing collectors and whatnot. We don't do that. We soft bill because we're obligated to send the bill out. Insurance pays it, and we absorb the cost otherwise, okay? Like, that's a blessing, right? And God forbid, we're not able to do that
Well,
going forward.
it's a real blessing we have the staff because
Yeah.
with the exception of the couple full-timers, every single person over there has a full-time job making a lot more money.
Yeah.
They're not here for the
Right.
money, they're here because they like the community, they
Yeah,
like
they
to
love the
work,
community, right.
and they could go anywhere else and get a lot more money.
Double. We are the
Yeah.
lowest paid department in the county, and that's across the board.
For both police.
Right, across the board for the
Oh, yeah.
police department, for council, $200 a month. They spend more than that. $700 a month. I spend more than that here in Lakemore.
Well, if you
No,
would
I don't
quit
wanna
buying trees.
I mean, I'm upset
Yeah,
still.
that's okay.
I'm really upset.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
I know I'm out of order.
God forgive me.
I know I'm out of order, but I've worked on the fire levies for some people, and our last messaging was to everyone, and as the fire department saved your life, as the fire department saved your property, you know anybody that the fire, yeah. You want that to continue? It's kind of a simple, simplistic approach, but that's the bottom line,
We pray that it does continue.
They're
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They are. Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
I just have one thing to add
I'm
to
sorry,
this.
yeah.
So,
Sorry.
people might be upset that we did the loan and we redid the fire department and stuff. This levy does not pay for the building.
No.
This levy goes just to pay the salaries and
Just the
the
operation.
supplies and things like that
For
that
the
we need.
department, right.
So if you're upset about the building or any upgrades that we've done to the building or any of that stuff, that money comes out of the general fund and other ways that we collect the money. So this is for the fire department. This is not, so don't take your anger out if you're mad about, how much we spent or whatever, but it needed to be done regardless. But don't take your anger out by voting the levies down, because that will impact the fire department.
Of course. Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with the buildings or the loans, so. that's all I have.
Okay.
Thanks, Nikki.
Um,
Sorry, everyone.
No, you're fine. I'm gonna make it quick because we do have some other things on the agenda here we're gonna get through. So November 30th, this is going to be Lakemore's Christmas event. It's going to be at Lakemore United Methodist Church. Festivities start at 6 p.m. We're going to have coffee and cocoa and cookies and crafts, and we'll have Santa come on down on the fire truck, and you can get your picture taken with Santa. And then we also have the little train. We weren't able to get the horse and carriage this year because due to the horse's health, and it's pretty much impossible to find a horse and carriage. So we are going to have the little train, and we'll go around the village, and the kids can check out the lights, and we're going to have a great time. So please come and see us on November 30th at 6 p.m. Lakemore United Methodist. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Nikki. Heather.
All right, just a couple of quick things. The next council meeting will be December 2nd and December 16th, each at 6 p.m. here in the new building. The next council workshop will be November 26th and December 10th, each at 6 o'clock as well. And the only other thing that I have is I would like to give a huge thank you to Maranatha. They was able to purchase turkeys for the Spartan snack pack families that come to the pantry. So the families were able to get that. So we greatly appreciate them and Dumas, you know, for going above and beyond and helping, you know, the families for Thanksgiving. So with that, I'm done.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Heather. That's awesome. Tracy, you have a report.
I was just gonna talk about the letters that I sent out.
Do you need them?
No, I've sent out so many of them. So last year, we, Great Lakes RCAP helped conduct a service line inventory. This is required by the Ohio EPA. They want to make sure that every public water source knows what their mains are comprised of and the plumbing going into people's house and the plumbing inside every house. They want to make sure that there's no lead. They want to make sure that there's no galvanized, which a lot of houses have galvanized. Lead obviously is bad. Galvanized, if there's lead anywhere before that galvanized, it will over time corrode and it'll hold on to lead or anything else that could be toxic. So the first step was to do the survey, and I've been told that some people sent their surveys in, and I apologize if the information didn't get recorded correctly on the spreadsheets, but I got a huge spreadsheet of addresses that I had to send out, whether they did report they have lead or galvanized and they should replace, whether it's the service line coming in the house or the plumbing inside their house. They have one or the other, galvanized or lead inside or out, or they didn't report anything. And the letters of the who didn't report anything was about that high. So I apologize, it took weeks to get them mailed out. I was mailing them out in between everything else. But the main thing with the letters is, if it was unknown, you just have to let me know. You can take the letter that you got and write copper inside, copper outside, whatever, galvanized, plastic, whatever, bring it back. You can throw it in the Dropbox, or you can call with your address and what you have, so I can update the spreadsheet, because this is annual. So every year, whoever's left with unknowns or knowing that it's something that's bad is gonna get a letter. Every year till infinity, apparently. So, and it's required by the EPA, because then I have to send them a report saying how many letters I sent to how many types. So, I apologize for the inconvenience. It's all for the greater good, the health, but they want to make sure that everybody's drinking safe water. Right now, if you have something that should probably be replaced, I don't know of any grant funding right now, but there is the option of just having a filter put on for the water that you drink and cook with. And I could try to help find funds for that if need be, so.
Yeah, and we've inquired for grants.
Yeah.
So we are on the short list to call.
I know the city of Akron has grant funds, but they have a huge tax base, and they are obviously at a different tier because they have many more customers. We're a class 1, they're like a class 4 for water, so there's way different requirements than us. We're in that spot where we have a lot, but not enough people making, just.
And they earmarked a lot of their ARPA funds, but they got $9 million in ARPA money for
Right.
that. So we got a couple $100,000.
But right now, I just need to know what everybody has, if they got a letter.
Yeah.
Everyone, please just let
That's
Tracy
part
know.
one.
That's what she's
Let me
asking.
know.
Please, so she can be done with this.
Okay, is there anything else? Infinity.
She said,
If they let me know as soon as possible, then hopefully they won't get a letter anymore from me. But I will have to do it again, next year, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, is there anyone representing the full council?
No, there is not.
Okay,
And
if everyone's okay, Mrs. Cochran, would you proceed with our first item in new
Yes.
business? And then we'll adjourn for a moment and
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
then go back to Mr. Ray. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah, we're gonna go out of order, but that's for the greater good here. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7409-2024. A resolution approving the police chief to hire Tom Heinerman as part-time patrol officer with the Lakemore Police Department. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
I'll second.
Thank you, Heather.
Roll call, please.
All right, Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes,
I'll second the original.
thank you.
Roll call.
Excited, by the way. Like,
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yep.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes, welcome back.
Mr. Ray?
heck yes.
All right, you're next.
Okay, so at this time, I'd like to make a motion to go out of the regular order of business for the swearing in of Mr. Heinerman.
I'll second.
Officer Hammond, to be, oh, here, yeah, good. Let's do this.
All right, I need to do roll call real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, roll call, yeah.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Ish.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Laura, who was your second?
Me.
Heather.
Heather.
Say yay.
I'm not sure which one.
Might have said it at the same time.
Yeah.
The paper's gonna take a picture. Chief, you gotta get in this. No, come on over here. Stand somewhere, no? All right. On this date, you are hereby commissioned to serve as part-time police officer for the Village of Lakemore Police Department pursuant to ORC Section 737.16, and as such, you shall affirm the following. Repeating after me, I state your name,
I, Thomas Heinerman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and the laws and ordinances
laws and ordinances
of the Village of Lakemore,
of the Village of Lakemore,
and will discharge the duties
and will discharge the duties
of the office of
of the office of
part-time police officer,
part-time police officer,
which I have been appointed,
which I have been appointed
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
Okay, that's it. It's a wrap. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for holding the Bible. Awesome. I hope we got a good paper picture for the paper. Well, much. We'll sign where, tell me where to.
Oh. Perfect, thank you.
I was prepared to touch anything, but someone would get broken and
That's it?
There.
Your name? Jackson.
Sign and a Bible there.
Son and professional. Please.
thanks for your patience, guys. That was a
Yeah.
lot to have to wait.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that. We just got excited.
Got a lot.
Congrats, thank you.
Congrats.
Congrats. Yay, welcome home.
Welcome back. Yeah, welcome home. I love that, Nikki. Good job.
Yeah, that's what he
Chief, thank
said
you
on the
very much. Thanks for
way
being
in. He
here.
feels like he's
Yeah,
home.
there you
Bye, guys.
Bye. God bless
Thank
you
you.
guys. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to return to the regular order of business.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
All right, Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
We'll go back into old business, actually. Mr. Ray, and then we'll do new business. Go ahead.
This, I first would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1872-2024. This is an ordinance to amend ordinance 1833-2023, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. But first, I would like to make a motion to dispense with the third read.
I'll second.
Okay.
Roll call.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
In the original?
Second, the original.
Thank you.
And
Any
just
discussion?
just to clarify, this is one that we had on the list last meeting, but we did not have enough people to vote on it, which is why you'll see that we're voting on 2 of these tonight.
Thanks for that. Okay, if there's no more discussion, roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Okay, new business, Mrs. Cochran,
Okay.
Mr. Ray, and Mr. Strittmatter, please continue on.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7411-2024, a celebration of the completion of the remodeled Lakemore Fire and Police Departments Administration Building Suite Addition and new Department of Public Services Building. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
A second.
Roll call, please.
All right, Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.